Then we opened up a pawn shop. So it's all I've ever done. I enjoy doing it. So, I mean, there's just a lot of things going on there.
Rumors circulating among Pawn Stars fans brought shocking news. Richard Kevin Harrison, better known as Rick Harrison, was sentenced to life in prison. Famous for his straightforward business tactics and extensive knowledge showcased on the show, Rick found himself in serious legal trouble, a turn no one anticipated. For years, Pawn Stars captivated audiences by presenting the intriguing world of pawn dealing, featuring rare artifacts, tough negotiations, and the daily dramas at Rick Harrison's famous Las Vegas pawn shop. However, his thriving TV career has now taken an unexpected and dark turn. Born on March 22, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina, Rick moved to San Diego, California, at the age of 2. He developed epilepsy by age 8, which resulted in frequent school absences, ultimately leading him to drop out during his sophomore year of high school. Despite these challenges, Rick's ambition and thirst for knowledge remained strong. He became an autodidact, reading voraciously, particularly on subjects like history and business. During his teenage years, Rick worked alongside his father in various ventures, honing his skills in assessing value and authenticity, skills that would later benefit his career. At just 17, Rick married his pregnant girlfriend Kim, and they had 2 sons, Corey and Adam, before divorcing after 8 years. In 1981, Rick's family moved to Las Vegas, where his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, nicknamed the Old Man, opened a gold and silver coin shop. This business evolved into the renowned gold and silver pawn shop in 1989. The transition from a coin shop to a pawn shop was a strategic move, recognizing the potential for higher profits in the pawn industry. The early days were challenging, with Rick and his father working tirelessly to gain their reputation. Rick often faced difficult customers, which toughened him and refined his negotiation abilities. By the early 2000s, Rick was well known in Las Vegas for his expertise in collectibles and historical items, and the pawn shop became a popular destination for both locals and tourists. Aware of the entertainment potential in his business, Rick made persistent attempts to pitch a reality show based on the daily operations of the pawn shop, despite facing years of rejections. In 2009, Rick Harrison finally secured a deal with the History Channel, leading to the launch of Pawn Stars, a show that documented the daily operations of the gold and silver pawn shop. The series featured Rick, his son Corey, his father, Richard "Old Man" Harrison, and their friend, Austin "Chumley" Russell, as they evaluated, bought, and sold items of historical significance and questionable value. The show quickly became a sensation, transforming Rick from a local pawn shop owner into a television celebrity. His catchphrases, straightforward demeanor, and extensive knowledge of historical artifacts endeared him to fans. Notably, his signature line, "The best I can do is," became iconic as he negotiated with customers selling their treasures. What distinguished Pawn Stars from other reality shows was its educational component, which Rick insisted upon. Each episode featured historical information about the items brought into the shop, with Rick often providing detailed context and background that showcased his vast knowledge. This approach attracted a diverse audience, making Pawn Stars one of the History Channel's most successful programs. Under Rick's leadership, the pawn shop expanded its business, drawing tourists from around the globe eager to catch a glimpse of the stars or even participate in an episode. Merchandise sales surged, and Rick capitalized on his fame by writing books, making personal appearances, and even opening a restaurant. The success of Pawn Stars catapulted Rick into a new realm of celebrity. He made appearances on numerous talk shows, was featured in magazines, and became a sought-after speaker at business events. His rags-to-riches story resonated with many Americans, and his straightforward business advice earned him respect beyond the entertainment industry. As the face of Pawn Stars, Rick was known for his business acumen and pragmatic approach. He often played the role of the voice of reason on the show, guiding his son Corey's ambitious purchases and managing Chumley's occasional antics. His relationship with his father showed a deep mutual respect built on years of collaboration, and after his father's passing in 2018, Rick honored his legacy by continuing to operate the business with the same foundational principles. Rick's personal life during the peak of Pawn Stars' popularity experienced both highs and lows. Following his first marriage, he married Tracy Harrison, and they were together for 27 years before divorcing in 2011. In 2013, Rick married Deanna Burdett in a ceremony officiated by his Counting Cars co-star, Danny Coker, with Chumley serving as the ring bearer. While Rick largely kept his family life private, it occasionally emerged in discussions during the show, revealing a man committed to his family despite the demands of fame and business. He expanded his business ventures beyond the pawn shop by opening Rick's Rolling Smoke Barbecue and Tavern at Pawn Plaza, adjacent to the gold and silver pawn shop. Additionally, he co-authored the 2011 book, License to Pawn, Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver, which detailed his life and business philosophy. Always the entrepreneur, Rick consistently sought new opportunities to grow his brand and expand his business empire. Throughout his career, he exhibited a remarkable ability to recognize value where others might overlook it. On Pawn Stars, viewers watched as he evaluated a wide variety of items, ranging from historical documents and vintage cars to ancient artifacts and modern collectibles. His expertise seemed limitless, although he prudently called in specialists for items outside his knowledge base. Over the years, Rick bought and sold numerous items, with some transactions yielding substantial profits while others were less favorable. His expertise in firearms, watches, and American history often resulted in successful deals, transforming modest investments into significant profits for the shop. One of his most famous purchases was a 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl ring, which he acquired for $2,600, and it was valued significantly higher. Another notable acquisition included a collection of Spanish gold doubloons recovered from a 1715 shipwreck. Rick Harrison showcased his interests in both history and valuable precious metals, but his life has also seen its share of unfortunate experiences, largely due to his choices. In 2023, his legal troubles began when federal agents raided his Las Vegas home as part of a months-long investigation. Initially, the public remained in the dark about the investigation's nature, leading to rampant speculation online. The raid surprised fans and those close to Rick alike. The FBI, accompanied by IRS investigators and representatives from the Department of Cultural Heritage Protection, executed search warrants at both Rick's home and the gold and silver pawn shop. Employees and customers present during the raid at the shop were temporarily detained while agents confiscated computers, documents, and several items from the store's inventory. Rick's son Corey, who was at the shop during the raid, described the scene as surreal and reminiscent of a movie. Witnesses noted that Rick appeared calm as agents escorted him from his home, maintaining his composure despite neighbors recording the event on cell phones, with footage quickly spreading across social media. As details emerged, it became apparent that authorities were investigating allegations surrounding a sophisticated tax evasion scheme and money laundering operations related to high-value items passing through the pawn shop, along with claims of dealing in illegally obtained artifacts. The investigation reportedly began due to suspicious transactions flagged by financial institutions and complaints from former business associates. In the weeks following the raid, the History Channel suspended production of Pawn Stars, issuing a brief statement that they were monitoring the situation and would make appropriate decisions as more information became available. Although the gold and silver pawn shop remained open, it noticed a significant drop in customers as the legal cloud hanging over Rick began to affect business. Initially, Rick's representatives issued strong denials of any wrongdoing, describing the investigation as a misunderstanding that would soon be resolved. His attorney, David Marshall, a well-known Las Vegas lawyer recognized for representing celebrity clients, assured the public that Rick had always conducted his business with integrity and in full compliance with the law. However, as the investigation unfolded, troubling details surfaced. Authorities claimed to have found evidence suggesting Rick was involved in a complex scheme to undervalue certain historical artifacts for tax purposes while selling them through private channels at their true market value. Investigators also alleged that Rick knowingly purchased stolen historical items through intermediaries, including documents of significant historical importance and artifacts belonging to museums and private collections. According to court documents later made public, the investigation was partly triggered by a former employee who had closely worked with Rick on acquiring several high-value items. This whistleblower provided authorities with information about a separate bookkeeping system allegedly maintained for transactions that Rick wanted to keep off the official records. Rick was arrested but released on bond the following day and was scheduled to appear in court shortly afterward. He faced multiple felony charges, including tax evasion, money laundering, dealing in stolen property, and conspiracy to traffic illegally obtained cultural artifacts. His lawyer, David Marshall, confirmed that Rick vehemently denied all charges and intended to fight them in court. The ensuing legal battle lasted nearly a year, with Rick maintaining his innocence throughout the proceedings. However, as evidence mounted and former associates testified against him, his position became increasingly precarious. The prosecution presented financial records, encrypted messages, and testimonies from former employees who claimed Rick had instructed them to alter documentation related to certain high-value transactions. Evidence presented during the trial suggested that Rick had established offshore accounts to conceal profits from particularly lucrative transactions. A particularly damaging piece of evidence was a series of text messages exchanged between Rick and an unidentified supplier, where they discussed how to clean the provenance of an 18th-century document believed to have been stolen from a university archive. In another conversation, Rick allegedly outlined how to structure a sale to bypass reporting requirements for large cash transactions. Throughout the pre-trial proceedings, Rick maintained a defiant public persona, making several appearances on conservative talk shows, claiming he was being targeted due to his political views and success. His supporters rallied around him, creating hashtags like #FreeRick and organizing protests outside the courthouse during hearings. However, Rick hit a low point when he broke the law, shocking many who saw him as the knowledgeable and straightforward businessman from Pawn Stars. The arrest report revealed a more calculating side of Rick than most had expected. His legal troubles exposed a different aspect of his personality, but surprises did not end there. While many rushed to judge Rick based on media reports, it is essential to remember that everyone deserves compassion during their toughest times. Many loyal fans took to social media to form support groups, emphasizing that despite the charges, Rick's positive impact on their lives through his educational approach on Pawn Stars deserved recognition. One supporter noted, "Rick taught me to love history in a way school never could. Now it's our turn to show him that we haven't forgotten the good he's done." The courtroom fell silent when the sentence was read, and Rick, who had maintained his composure throughout the trial, visibly paled. His son, Coy, who was seated behind him, put his head in his hands, while Chumley, who had attended every day of the trial in support of his mentor, was seen quickly exiting the courtroom, overcome with emotion. The sentence shocked legal experts, many of whom suggested it was disproportionate to the crimes committed. However, the judge emphasized that the sentence reflected not only the financial crimes but also the irreparable damage done to historical and cultural heritage through Rick's involvement in trafficking looted artifacts. "Mr. Harrison, you have presented yourself to the American public as a guardian of history, someone who values the stories behind objects and recognizes their significance to our collective heritage," the judge stated during sentencing. "Yet in reality, you have participated in the systematic looting and destruction of irreplaceable cultural sites for personal profit. This court cannot ignore the gravity of such actions." In the days following the sentencing, Rick's legal team filed an immediate appeal, arguing that the punishment was excessive and unconstitutional given the non-violent nature of the crimes. They also requested that Rick be allowed to remain free on bond pending the appeal. This request was denied, resulting in images of Rick being led away in handcuffs dominating news coverage and social media. Reactions to Rick's conviction and sentencing were mixed. Many longtime fans expressed disbelief, suggesting there must have been a miscarriage of justice, while others, particularly those from the academic and cultural heritage communities, applauded the severity of the sentence. The sentence was deemed a necessary deterrent against the lucrative trade in looted artifacts. Rick's situation inspired an unprecedented wave of solidarity among his fan base through the Hearts for Harrison campaign, which collected over 100,000 signatures petitioning for a review of his case. Supporters emphasized the disproportionate nature of his sentence compared to similar cases. "We're not saying he shouldn't face consequences if he broke the law," explained campaign organizer Melissa Jenkins. "We're saying that a life sentence for non-violent offenses doesn't reflect justice, it reflects vengeance. If you believe Rick deserves a second chance, consider adding your name to the petition or donating to his legal defense fund. Even a small contribution can help ensure he has the resources needed for an effective appeal. Every prayer, every kind message, and every dollar toward his legal defense makes a difference." Coy's statement echoed this sentiment. "My father made mistakes, but he doesn't deserve to die in prison. He deserves the chance to make amends." Meanwhile, the History Channel moved swiftly to distance itself from Rick, officially cancelling Pawn Stars and removing reruns from its immediate broadcast schedule. In a statement, the network expressed deep disappointment in Rick's actions and reaffirmed its commitment to the respectful and legal treatment of historical artifacts and cultural heritage. Despite his legal troubles, Rick's impact on reality television and the porn industry remained significant. Prior to his legal issues, he had successfully built a business empire that extended well beyond the pawn shop, with his entrepreneurial spirit leading him to open several restaurants and bars in Las Vegas, along with plans for expansion into other cities. The gold and silver pawn shop, now managed by his son Coy, continues to be a popular tourist destination in Las Vegas, though visitor numbers initially dropped following Rick's conviction. Coy has worked to rebrand the shop, emphasizing transparency in all transactions and partnering with museums and educational institutions to promote ethical collecting practices. In an emotional interview 6 months after his father's sentencing, Coy spoke about the challenges of preserving the family business while addressing the legitimate concerns raised during the trial. "We've implemented rigorous new protocols for verifying the provenance of every item we purchase," he explained. "What happened was wrong, and we're committed to being part of the solution, not the problem." Chumley, who had always looked up to Rick as a mentor and father figure, publicly expressed his conflicted feelings, stating, "I learned so much from Rick, good business practices that I'll carry with me forever. But I've had to accept that there was another side to him that I never saw or maybe didn't want to see." The Harrison family has faced overwhelming challenges, focusing on rebuilding their reputation and business while supporting Rick through the appeal process. Coy, now fully in charge of the family enterprise, has demonstrated business acumen that has surprised many who primarily knew him as Rick's sometimes impulsive son on the show. "Your messages of encouragement have been a lifeline for our father," Coy said in a recent press statement. "He reads every letter sent to him and draws strength from knowing so many people still believe in him, despite everything. Rick needs your support now more than ever." The family has organized prayer circles every Sunday outside the pawn shop, where loyal fans gather to show their solidarity. If supporters cannot make it to Las Vegas, the family encourages them to send letters, cards, or even photos of memorable moments from the show that brought joy to viewers, as these small gestures can make a significant difference for a man facing his darkest hours. "My father taught me everything I know about this business," Coy reflected in a recent interview. "The good parts of that education are what I'm trying to build on now. We made mistakes, big ones, but this shop has been part of Las Vegas for over 30 years, and I'm determined to make sure it's here for 30 more." Rick's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary, transforming from a small pawn shop owner to a reality TV star, entrepreneur, and now a convicted felon serving a life sentence. His transition from a respected businessman to a disgraced public figure illustrates how quickly fortunes can change, particularly under the unforgiving spotlight of fame. Cultural commentators have likened Rick's downfall to something out of a Shakespearean tragedy, describing a man whose exceptional knowledge of history ultimately did not prevent him from making historical artifacts the instrument of his own destruction. His story has become a cautionary tale about the perils of success, the temptations that accompany it, and the often blurry lines between shrewd business practices and criminal activity. As this story continues to unfold, we will provide the latest developments on this unprecedented case that has left the world of reality television reeling and a family business fighting for survival without its charismatic leader. During these challenging times, Rick Harrison needs all the support he can get. For fans of Pawn Stars who appreciate what Rick has contributed to television over the years, consider sending your prayers, positive thoughts, and words of encouragement his way. The Harrison family has set up a website where supporters can leave messages that will be delivered.